Hello and welcome everyone. Today we are going to be making some clay Mickey head shaped ornaments that look like cookies. I don't know how well you can see the edge on this one, but it looks like a cookie with red icing on top and sprinkles. So this is what we're going to work on today. So to do this, I have some Sculpey polymer clay. You don't have to use Sculpey, you can use whatever you want. And I have a small cookie cutter. You can use any size you want. I have varying sizes, but I like this size here. To get my cookie color, and like this is the same for my gingerbread color that I use. And here, I'll show you another one that I did. I haven't glazed it yet, but it looks like this color here. What I do for that is I mix these two together. And this is tan, and this one is, I believe it's raw sienna. That's right, raw sienna. So I mix the tan and the raw sienna to get kind of the color that I like. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up the package and mix these together, soften the clay, get it conditioned, ready to go. So I think, I want to say I usually do like 2/3 raw sienna and 1/3 tan, but I can't remember. So I'm going to mix it together and see, and then I'll let you know after I do that. So let me do that and then I'll come back. Okay, so I figured out I was doing 2 parts tan for 1 part raw sienna, and that's how I got this color. So now I am going to cookie cutter out some Mickey heads, and to help it from not sticking and make it easier, I'm putting some plastic wrap over the clay. I'm just gonna see how many I can get out of this one. Let's see if we can fit one more. There we go. So I'm gonna just pull the plastic wrap off. So I have my clay Mickey head cookies ready to be decorated. I just moved them and smoothed out the edges a little. So now we have to figure out how we want to decorate them. And like I showed you, this one I just did some what looks like icing on top and sprinkles with a little holly leaf. I think what I want to try next is to do something similar to this one. Maybe do like 3 buttons and then some wiggly lines that look like icing. So I'm going to start with some red, which I already have conditioned and rolled out here. And I am going to do a cut of 1 Mickey head out of this to make the icing to go on one of the cookies. So I'm just going to, and it can go like right up to the edges because I'm actually going to cut it smaller after I cut it out with the cookie cutter, because you don't want to cover your entire cookie. And then I'm also going to, I have this other little clay cookie or clay cutter in a bow, and I'm going to do one of those. And then I also have a hat I'm going to do. I might use those. I'm going to see. So let's take this off. So for the first part, I'm just going to kind of cut inside the shape. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to kind of squish it down a little bit once we put it on the cookie, or the fake clay cookie. So I'm going to do the one here in the corner. I'm just going to pull this up off the put it down here. Now we're just not putting it down, we're not smushing it down because we just want to look at it now. I think I'm going to make it a little smaller because as you can see, you can't see much of the edge and I still have to push it down. So move it back over here. And it actually may even be easier to just cut the ears off to start with and move them to the side. And work with your round shape. Okay. I'm also going to flatten this a little bit with my roller just to get it down a little bit more spread out. See how it looks on my cookie. Remember, this is supposed to be icing on a cookie, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I think I'm liking how this looks. You could go even thinner if you want, but I think I'm liking it so far. So let's check this ear and see. Let's just knock this little bit off right here. And actually come in a little bit more because it's a little bit thick. So I'm going to just take a little more off and then I'm going to roll it out a little bit more. You don't have to worry about the shape like really a lot because you're going to fix that once you put it on here. Okay, and the other side. Just going to lop that right off. Take some of this down. This one we might have to add a little, possibly, but we'll see once we get going. So then I'm going to get my bowl tool. It looks like this. And I am just going to start smoothing it around and pushing it out a little. Now you don't want to do it too hard or else you'll flatten your cookie even thinner and you don't really want to do that. You just want to kind of push it on there, make it look like icing. Make it stick to the other piece of clay. But you still want to be able to see your edge. Okay, a little piece of red here that I want to try to get rid of. You can always use your roller a little if you do it not too hard. Let's see this piece, I'm just going to push around just to get it where I need it to be. See, that's where I might need a little bit more. So on this bit, I'm just going to add a tiny bit in the center here. Too much. You can always add, it's a little harder to take away, so. And see how you can just blend it right in. Add a little bit to the side. A little bit more. A little bit more right here. So there's that one. And what I'm going to do is I also have a snowflake cutter that I'm going to use, cut a snowflake out in white and put that on top in the center, decorate that one. So now I'm going to take this little bow that that I cut. Get my other tool. Just see if I can get this stuff out of the way. Might have been a good idea to put a little cornstarch down. Make these easier to get on and off, but got it. Get a little extra coming up from the back there, so we just tap it down. So they'll have the little hat and a little bow. Just gotta fix up the edges a little. And you can take a tool, so you don't have to try to fit your fingers in there. Just smooth them down. I think I'm going to use this one. Right here. I think that looks cute. And then maybe put this one up here like this. I think I like it a little crooked like that. And then I might add an edge to that. Yeah, so just press it down a little so that it sticks to the other clay. Okay, now let me get my white conditioned and rolled out, and I'll come right back. Now I did roll this out thinner than the red, just because I did it with the rolling pin and not the pasta machine. So it's a little thinner, so we don't want to make it too small because we won't have as much to roll out. That there, and we're going to add this one here. I need to fix this bottom a little bit. There we go. Still seems like we got more than we need here. Cut off the top a little. Okay, and then same thing with the ears. Just too much still. Okay. Stay stuck. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing, just rolling these out. Probably see this a little bit better in detail than the red, just because it's white. It really does look more like icing. Gonna add a tiny teeny bit right here. A little bit more right where the crack is there. Okay, so that one's covered. So now let's make our snowflake. This time I'll try using my other tool to lift it off and see if we do better that way. I just broke my tool. this right in the center of here. I'm just gonna try smushing it down a little bit. There we go. So now also with a little bit of this white, I'm just gonna make a little snake and add a little edge to my hat, I think. And I think I'm going to add a little ball. To the top there. Cover up that red one. I think that looks cute. And I think I'm going to do a little ball in the middle of the bow here too. Use this tool just to do that. Okay. So let's see what's next. Let's maybe do some icing. Okay, so to do this mini version down here, I'm doing some swirls. So I just made some long snakes and I started out with a little curl like that, and I'm just gonna put it on the ear in the center. Just like that, and then just carefully start swirling it around, but leaving a gap. And it doesn't have to look the same as the other side. It doesn't have to fill it all up. It can go however you want. I do want to scoot it over if I can. So see, that side ended up a little less than the other side, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be the same. You can look however you want it to look. And I'm going to do the same thing for the middle. So just making the snake. That did not come out so well. The middle got too skinny. So I'm just going to start one end by rolling it in. I find it's easier to do it like this to start with, and then to put it in the middle of where you're going to put it. You know what? I think I'm just going to do like a small one. Kind of looks like a button-ish here. Maybe? I don't know. Let's see. Keep coming. Just like that, I think. Alright, so now I'm going to try doing the reindeer antlers again. I made the clay a little thicker that looks a little better this time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just bring this across here, get rid of that bit, and then cut it right down like that. Now, just have to be able to get, let me try this tool. A little spatula type thing. And what I'm doing with these is I'm just gonna add this here. Put it down for a second, get it where we need it. So I'm gonna move this over and figure out where exactly we want this to go. I think more like this, and then like that. Then we'll just smush it a little together. Got a little fingernail mark there, which I can buff out later. And then I'm going to add a little nose to make it look like a reindeer. Maybe I should use a red nose, like Rudolph. Get this brown off of here. Fingers a little, and get a tiny bit of red. Got a little brown on top of there. Let's get that off of there. So now, I'll do a little red ball. So I use my little dot tool to pick it up. Actually, I use this one. Just like that. I think that looks really cute. So all but one of these are done, I think. Actually, I might add some glitter to this one, and this one I am going to add some blue snowflake sequins. Let me get the red off my fingers. So you can add glitter and sequins to your clay before you bake it. So I'm just going to take some of these little blue sequins and just press them in. Make them look like little sprinkles. One more with this one back in here. And there's that one. So that one's done. And then I'm going to add a little glitter to this one here just to give it a little bit of shine. Let me go get that. I'll be right back. Sorry, I started glittering before I turned the camera back on, but so I'm just adding a tiny bit of glitter. I'm just kind of tapping it down. Okay. Okay, so now we have them all decorated. It's time to put them in the oven and bake them according to the directions for the clay that you have. Now, we can put eye hooks at the ends and the tops if you want to, or you can add ribbon to the back with a hot glue, or however you want to hang them up. You can add that after, or you can add an eye hook now before you bake. I am just going to bake these for now and figure out how I want to hang them afterward. So when I'm done baking them, I'll come back. Okay, so my cookies are all baked. I unhooked them from the ceramic tile and put them on top of a piece of wax paper, because now I'm going to resin them so that they can have that nice shiny look but also be protected, give it a little more strength. I resined this one. I did not resin the back side. I'm going to do that now. So I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just using some UV resin, and I'm using an old nail polish brush that I cleaned off, and I'm just going to paint a thin coat of resin on there. So I have my resin in the little dish here, just popping my brush in there, and I'm just going to do a thin coat. Now I'm going to do my one with the glitter last, although it looks like I might have a little bit of glitter on my brush or in my resin dish or something from a previous project, but a little extra glitter won't hurt these. So just trying to make sure I get in all the little nooks and crannies. So this is all you got to do for the entire top, and then you set it using UV light or the sun until it's no longer wet or tacky. I'm just going to put this down so I can do the other ear. And I'm going to do this with all the other ones, and then I'm going to cure them, and I will come back when that's done, and I'll do the back of this one too so you can see what the other side looks like. So when I have that done, I'll come back to you. Okay, so the front side has cured, and so now it's time to add resin to the back side. And you can see on this one that I had showed you how I resin the front, see how it's nice and shiny. I did the same to the back, you can kind of see how it's shiny, but I didn't add any way to hang this. Now, obviously you could just use some hot glue to attach a ribbon or some other glue, but you can also add resin to your hook that you would like to use. And in this case, I'm going to use an eye pin. And what I'm going to do is just, not that you have to do this, but just curl it around a little, and then I'm going to resin it to the back. Now, I could have done this when I did the back, but I forgot because I was doing the fronts of most of them, so I wasn't thinking about how I was going to hang it. But you can definitely do it then, but you can also add it, if you forget, it's not a big deal, you can add it afterward. You just have to cure it again. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. In order to do this, I am just going to go ahead and put some resin directly on the back. This is this one. Directly on the back to start with, and then I'm just going to get my little brush out again and brush it all over the back. And the reason I just poured it on here is just because this side is flat. I don't have to worry about all the little crevices and things like I did with the other side. I just want to make sure I get all the way to the edges without running over. The hardest part about this is because it is self-leveling and there is decoration on the other side. It doesn't necessarily want to stay, but I'm going to do a quick cure to get it to stay in place initially, so I get it all spread out, and hopefully that'll keep it from running. Oh, it's curved, no wonder. Put it over there for a second so I can get a hold of it a little differently. So get the edges. And then I am going to place the one that I already curled right here in the center. I'm just going to try pushing some resin around. Let's get that back where I want it to be. Right there in the middle like that. And you can always come back and do another layer if you feel like you need to. Let's put this back. I'm using aluminum foil to hide this from the light when I turn my UV light on so that it doesn't get cured stuck together. And I'm just going to grab my light and stick it under here. And I'm going to cure it, and I'll come back. So I did a quick cure. It's definitely not done curing. It's just a quick 60 seconds that I put it under the lamp so that it would stay in place and not want to run. And hopefully that's good. So that now that we have our hooks resin to the back, I have now added some jump rings. I don't know if you can see that. So that we can add ribbon. Because the hole on the little pin here is very small, so just adding a jump ring makes it easier to attach a ribbon. And I just cut a piece of ribbon, skinny ribbon, and just thread it through. I'll show you how to do the jump ring. So you just get a jump ring and some pliers, open it up, put it through, close it up, make sure it's nice and tight so that it doesn't come back off. The hardest part about this is just how small the things are sometimes and just finagling it the right way. There we go. So I have the ring on there now, and now I'm going to put through my ribbon. Just match up the ends, tie a little knot. Now you could make it fancier and add a little bow, like hot glue a little bow to where your knot is. I'm not worried about doing that. You could also maybe add a bow down here or like little bells or something else if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna keep mine pretty simple. So just put all the ribbons on and you're good to go to hang them on your tree or add them to presents or however you want to. And like I said before, you could totally make this into a keychain, add it to a bag, with your gift tag or something. Just add a little extra something. You could even make like smaller versions of these and use them on wine glasses. If you made each one different, then somebody can tell what their wine glass is. You've seen those little wine glass charms, right? So you could do that. There's all kinds of things you can do. So let me hang these up on my tree so you can see them hanging up, and I'll come right back. So here they are, all hanging on the tree. I hope you enjoy today's video. And we'll come back again and craft along with me some more. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.